this impeachment process was being seen as a distraction to so many other important issues.
Yes.
That we've been experiencing. There was the healthcare reform. There's of course Andani.
Shift.
There's an issue with healthcare reforms. The shift and SHA. You know, like the rollout has been completely botched. This impeachment process was being seen as a distraction to so many other important issues.
Yes.
That we've been experiencing. There was the healthcare reform. There's of course Andani.
Shift.
There's an issue with healthcare reforms. The shift and SHA. You know, like the rollout has been completely botched. You know, I'm hearing speculations and rumors that civil servants have been taken back to the old system. I don't know how true that is.
Speculation is true.
It's true.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So
meaning they never left.
yeah. So there's that.
100.
Then I don't know whether you guys had this, but Sabina Che.
No, I haven't.
Sabina Che, who's is she nominated? I'm even forgetting.
She's nominated.
There was a time when she was a woman.
She's nominated.
By Azimio.
Yes.
I think she's nominated by Azimio. She went
In Jubilee. Barako Jubilee, yes.
Yeah, but that's under the Azimio.
So there's something that she's sponsoring called Horticultural Crops Authority Bill. I don't know that you guys have heard of this. I had this on Lin Ngugi's show and I got very worried. There was a lady who was talking about farming, like some of the controversial aspects that were introduced by this bill for horticultural traders. It includes mandatory licensing for anyone involved in the cultivation, processing, export, and import of horticultural crops like fruits, vegetables, and flowers.
Okay, come back again.
Okay.
Wheel up.
The horticultural, how is this pronounced? Horticultural.
No, you got it right.
You're right. You don't have to do but it's fine. You're right.
Okay. I'm trying to do the Kenyan accent. You know, my American accent sometimes does not Kenya the way it's supposed to.
You'd say horticulture.
Yeah. So Horticultural Crops Authority Bill is a stringent regulatory framework. It introduces let me read it again. It introduces for horticultural traders mandatory licensing for anyone involved in the cultivation, processing, export, and import of horticultural crops like fruits, vegetables, and flowers. This regulation extends to both large-scale and small-scale players, which some critics argue could disproportionately burden smaller farmers.
Correct.
Now, the bill also proposes heavy penalties for non-compliance, including fines of up to 2 million Kenya shillings or 3-year prison terms for unlicensed activities, and introduces export-import levies that could impact the profitability of businesses. Moreover, it mandates environmental conservation practices, which could further raise operational costs for farmers and processors. While the bill aims to improve food safety and ensure traceability, it risks pushing small-scale farmers out of the market due to high compliance costs.
Public participation is important.
Yes.
But you know, based upon what that says, that the bill is improving what was it again?
It says the bill aims to improve food safety and ensure traceability, but it risks pushing small-scale farmers out of the market due to high compliance costs.
So if you want to trace people, why don't you just get them to register, as opposed to saying that they need to license? And you can, and literally the same way that they have these agricultural officers go from farm to farm.
Yeah,
they can go and do that. What are they being paid for?
Okay,
that bill is being sponsored and paid for.
Correct. By a large.
By who?
By a multinational.
But yes, by a large conglomerate to get rid of these small farmers. Because think of that guy in Machakos who does the oranges. You know those oranges of Machakos, Zilewagas and Nini. They come out. In fact, I think they just harvested literally between August it's I think September or between August and September apple. And those things, those oranges, you have to order them literally like a year in advance. Kabla zitoke.
Wow, they're so high on demand like
yes,
that.
because the juice that comes out, uliza watu wanakulaga hizo orange na fresh squeeze juice.
Now I'm gonna
out of
try them.
Machakos.
Yeah.
Those things are off the chain, but it doesn't necessarily mean that whoever has them is a large scale farmer, right? You could still be a small scale, right? Mtu wa avocado, unaweza kuwa unafanya avocado lakini uko low scale.
Majority of farmers in most villages are small scale
They're
farmers.
small scale farmers.
Yeah, but again, if we're trying to do this to push the narrative a certain way where I'm getting rid of my competition because they can't afford even to get the licensing, pay for licensing,
pay attention,
and then get these guys to come in.
Pay attention to what Mika was saying.
Yeah.
You're looking at it from a smaller picture.
Okay.
Right? If your bread and butter cannot sustain you, your land becomes useless to you. That makes your land cheaper for me to come and buy. So if I'm multinational and I know a certain area is good for apples,
correct,
and apples are on high demand in other countries, right? Because this one covers everything. It covers from production up to exportation.
Correct.
That bill, right? So when I come and buy these farms cheap from people and start doing the farming myself, because the most important commodity here is the farm for farming those products.
The land,
So take away the small scale farmer, you become the main person who does everything. You'll hire these farmers to work on your land, work for you, export it, and you control the whole thing. That's basically what this bill does.
So sad.
Now, you have to remember, GMOs were allowed in Kenya. Are you guys now getting the drift of where this is going?
Civic education, people.
GMOs
were
allowed in Kenya, and it wasn't too long ago. I can't remember how long it was, but it was during this same. I think it was during Ruto's.
It was last.
It was during Ruto's time. I think it was during the first finance bill, but I think people can verify that, can just fact check us on that.
Check, yes.
Yeah, but GMOs, but what we know factually
that would have been the 23 finance bill.
Is that GMOs have been allowed. So now try to connect what's happening here. Now with this bill, where they're making it very difficult, and that's why Sabina Che, she has to come and talk to us.
She's Jubilee Party, by the way.
Jubilee was Azimio.
Yes.
Yeah, Jubilee.
Azimio, you're right.
Yeah. So she needs to come and talk to us. Otherwise, we'll send our Gen Zs to go salimia her. Because with GMOs allowed, it means all these big food manufacturers, all these big people who want to bring certain seeds,
organic
to
seed
Kenya.
banks at UNEP.
Yes.
I think I saw something like that.
Yeah, so now the idea is start slowly getting rid of these small scale farmers, because these small scale farmers, they do a lot, like in terms of like even when you're driving and going to shags, all these people who come to your window selling fruits those come from small scale farmers. Those come from small scale farmers.
OneMic's guys who can stones inside the canini for potatoes.
Those ones too. They're crafty.
Now have you ushaona vile hizo waru zimepangwa?
Waru is life.
Zinapangwa half alafu ile half ingine zero.
Na unadiscover kuna mawe huko chini ukifika home.
Na hata saa zingine hata wacha hiyo ya mawe, unajua ni vile hao wanaipanga ni ile kubwa wagamewekwa, alafu then it's a stack, it's been made in like a pyramid.
Kwanza they weka the perfect ones on top.
Yes. So unaicheck unasema mazii, and then when the thing is weka shwa. Kwa ile kabag kako unasema.
So those come from small scale farmers. So
it's OneMic.
Wachana na our cousins wakina OneMic. A lot of them are genuine. There's a couple of unscrupulous ones, but a lot of those people who do that business are very genuine. Wanakuzia ndizi, machungwa. So now these fruits that we enjoy, you see, the way you enjoy fruits when you go back home? Like I know Esther Mulusa right now is enjoying those fruits.
Like a nonsense.
In Chimalavandu, which we can't enjoy here because everything here tastes like, it's flat. It tastes like plastic. So now, with these GMOs coming in, we'll not be able to enjoy. Once you get rid of these small-scale farmers, come in GMO, then there's a problem. Remember, who's already in Kenya? Purdue Chicken.
Huh?
Purdue chicken.
Since when?
Purdue chicken has been in Kenya.
Kumare.
Yes, Purdue chicken is in Kenya. So now even the small scale farmers who who sell who like raise chicken, they're also at risk.
Because it's a trickle-down effect.
Walikatazwa kuingia Tanzania, but on the Tanganyika side, on the mainland island, Zanzibar, because part of what Zanzibar's authority on is on agriculture. So huko walikubaliwa kuingia. So now, for those who like going to Zanzibar, I know the ladies here, like going for trips. They're in this lady groups that organize trips. Yeah, some of the chicken that you're eating now at Forodhani
is Purdue.
Believe it or not, is Purdue chicken. And I have family that lives there, and they tell me, like the people who are selling the chicken there, and they have very good foods at Forodhani, they prefer Purdue chicken. You know why? Because it's bigger.
Inject.
Yes, because it's bigger. So now
it's a wrap.
There are so many. This horticultural bill is just but one. There are so many other things that are happening behind closed doors that we need to bring them to light.
And guess what? We are being distracted by Gachagua impeachment.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's a big issue now. We have to talk about it because it's happening.
But it's a double-edged sword, like Mika said. You know what? We have to learn
this one. Is
we
a
have to know.
Yeah. This one is
we
triple
have to know.
Yeah, because now you see when these multinationals, when they take over, like our food production, and when they take over our healthcare system with SHA, we are done.
It's a wrap.
We are completely done. Like we can't say anything.
Ketrako.
You remember when Gachagua used to campaign and say state capture?
Yes.
State capture. But they kumbe wao ndo walikuwa capturers.
This is now a multinational capture.
So what is he now? Captured or capchi?
No. Now you see
the
ruling class, they benefit from this because they get paid.
They get
Correct.
paid.
They get paid big time.
Yes.
Yeah. These bills, by the way, that are being passed, even when you look at the way they've been written, they're not written by these members of parliament. These members of parliament, for lack of better, most of them, ni wajinga, like they can't even express themselves. So when you read those bills, you can clearly tell there's an external force. So they just try to find, a member of parliament maybe who's looking to have a bill on their name. But Sabina Che is a very smart lady. She needs to come and explain to us who are the sponsors of this horticultural bill. Simple. Where did it come from? And I don't know if there's been public participation on it. There was another one that was called the Livestock Bill.
That goes back to what? Mugambi was talking about. Public participation and the Public Participation Act.
Yes, there was another one called the Livestock Bill.
I heard about that.
Yeah, which was doing the same thing now with livestock. Ivo trying to get them out of the way very soon.
Where you had to register your chicken.
Yeah, but I mean,
Mutina. Mutina pia ilikuwa na
remember Hila was here on the show telling us about his goods.
Yes. Yeah, so
imagine shosho yako ana register Mutina.
Digivia, please.
No, but that was the bill wanted. You have to say, I have 4 Mutinas in the homestead. Na zikizao unaenda na register puppies.
And by the way, and here's the thing again, and that is why it is important for people. Again, please, people, talk to your people. Constitution lazima musome. Do not be distracted.
Yeah, it's sad.
Because remember,
it is so
we are
so
all
sad. You're right.
Tied.
Yeah.
Yes.
To pende to see pende. We've got family, we've got relatives, kids, your grandma, your
and as
grandpa.
the diaspora, we have a heck of a voice.
We have
a heck of a voice. These guys have no choice but
huge
to
voice.
listen to us.
Right now,
wacha niwaambie maze ni madhagodhanio.
Right now, like Omosh likes talking about cousins wako, but you know what Omosh cousins are doing? in Lake Victoria.
They are importing fish from China.
They are selling you fish from China.
Yes.
Hapo karibu na Lake Victoria wanakuambia hii imetoka, wanakuambia hii imetoka kwa nini?
Hata mkisema ni kazi me I know
cousins zako.
Me I know my cousins actually do have fish farm and it comes from the cages within the lake. Sasa hao wengine unasema
no, but emotionally saying it's true. The thing
yes.
is this,
but he's right. He's actually right. Yes.
They refrigerated it in wheelers that go to Kisumu daily.
You're right.
They may be frozen fish from China, and that is quite sad because the thing is, and I will blame this going back to Kenyatta's government because fisheries was supposed to be created near the water basins, but the guy built a fishery
Lake Basin Authority. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he built it in Thika. So transportation of fish from there, and that is how the fishing industry just died.
And by the way,
it was not sustainable in Kenya. So and after that,
there was a couple of people who tried, but they couldn't.
And
but Mika,
sikulikuwa
Kibaso alituonesha video one time. There was supposed to be a fisheries project that was supposed to be started up in Kisumu.
They are working on them. They are working. I mean,
pesa zilikuwa zimetengwa.
At least it was launched.
It was launched.
Again, here's the thing that, like I say, they are working on them. I know growing up.
Was it launched?
I don't know about that one.
It was launched.
I don't know about that one.
It was.
And if it was launched, and me, I can just tell you that growing up, back in the day, what Mika was saying is that there were people who were doing, of course, the transportation and stuff like that. So there were some Wahindis in Kisumu who had a huge plant. They would buy fish, they would process, but guess where that fish was going? Locally, we were not consuming it.
Nairobi?
They were exporting it to Israel.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
They were and it was in filet. Yani wanachukua samaki, imekuja wakaikata, imekwa filet, and then
actually,
they even flash freeze it.
Used,
you know the way they go ahead, Mika.
The locals used to consume it in a term called mugongoazi.
What is mugongoazi?
It's bila bones.
So mugongoazi is when the fish has been filleted.
Yes.
Okay.
Bila bones.
That's carcass.
Okay. Miba yote imetolewa.
Yeah,
the part that they're not using. So, there's a part they don't use.
Filet imetolewa, filet imeenda kuuzwa.
Oh, damn.
The carcass are supposed to be discarded. Ndio ilikuwa inauzwa watu
locally.
Inatoka mgongoazi na mekiwa it's a poor man's food. Hiyo ni struggle.
Yep.
Wow. So that tells you the quality.
Ni example ya hii tukirudi coast. Remember all the fisheries in coast? What are the locals eating? Kiboma.
No, that's true.
Right? Which kiboma ni scraps zile zimebaki after wameshafile wameprocess the fishes. Kiboma silikuyoni yenye imebaki hiyo ndio watu wanapewa kukula sasa.
Yeah, so
the locals were actually eating the trash from the factories.
Yeah. So now coast, unless kuna watu wanajua wavuvi. If you know the fishermen, you can have a direct contact with them. And then if you go now to the deeper part, sasa ukiingia huko ndani sasa, now not even Mombasa, now Kilifi County, umeingia Malindi, umeenda past Malindi, huko you'll get some of the best octopus, anything that you
100
want.
AKA pweza.
Yes, you'll get it on that side.
I know for a fact.
But now you see, and of course Unomai could also know that.
Yes,
he's been around that area a lot. You'd get a lot of it. But now what this tells you is that we have very good quality fish.
Yes, we do.
Both freshwater, like Victoria, and at the sea.
Yes.
We just don't have a proper way of monetizing it to benefit, like the people who are fishing it direct. The people who are fishing it direct are not profiting, just like coffee growers, and just like many other people who engage in so many activities. We have not figured out a way, or I think the system we have is the people who are in control are profiting from having these other people grab this stuff from us and go away. Now you have the Chinese bringing their poor quality fish to the lake. It's like bringing sand.
To the lake, yeah.
It's like building. It's like
and then they sell it cheaper.
Ni kama kuleta changarawe, like that sand that's used for building, bring it to a beach.
But the funny thing is that hiyo samaki ya China inakuliwa Kisumu, alafu samaki ya Kisumu inakuliwa Nairobi.
Correct.
Atia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait.
Because in Nairobi it will fetch a higher price.
Kwa sababu Nairobi is going to be expensive.
It will fetch a higher price, yeah.
Alafu sasa Kisumu hii ya China inauzwa cheap, unafikiri inauzwa cheap juu imeshikwa hapo.
No, it's Chinese, yeah. It's Chinese. So a lot of people, especially visitors, wale hawajui, kuna wale wenyeji
watu wanajua. Ukienda hata ukienda hapo kwa beach, ukienda hapo Nyalenda beach hapo, ukienda hapo kukula fish, like ule madhe anakuangalianga hivi, anajuanga ni nini unataka. Na by the way, wacha kwambie samaki ya 1000 ni kubwa, tunaweza kula sisi hapa na tukumaliza.
All of us. And now we won't finish it. It's big.
Like from the
it's big,
it's like in our hand.
Like from
like
the
this.
Yeah.
That's
how
yes,
yeah.
The fish is as big as
fresh.
From, yes.
See yes. China.
No.
So,
Thao boss.
So no, kuna ya China na kuna ya Kisumu. So ukiangalia onyi wa kawaida, ukiangalia samaki yake ya Thao imenona kushinda yako, jueni mgeni.
Yeah, there's
so they can tell.
And if you eat fish from my
Na
shacks,
kama umeweza kukula fish,
you will never go eat that fish huko. You won't. You go direct.
Like, we are coming
you go direct.
We are coming to your shacks, by the way.
Okay,
I go shack with 2 coolers every December, and I come back with 70 fish. Always.
Okay. Wacha tusome comments hapa. So Kenyan Jui hapa tulikuwa tutujasoma comment yake, na wala anasema Omosh, kwani Kilimanjaro Studio does not have a HR department. Those comments about your hair and looks constitute a toxic work environment. I don't know
I'm with you.
Kenyan
Jui, I'm with you. Now, in fact, our HR representative had just stepped out, but I will be lodging a complaint forthwith.
Okay.
HR pia nafaa kutengeneza matuta zake zimecheka.
Alafu Esther Mulusa anasema Luyaland has a dearth of women politicians. We don't have a single female MP. That's something I didn't know. Governor or senator. We only get nominated senators. Our traditions get in the way. Then Doreen Florence anasema Sabina Che is Jubilee Party, which is Azimio. And then Gerald Oliech anasema when Ruto was visiting us, Hapa States, what deals did you all think was signed up with and for our country? We were given a veil of bilateral trade, but the real deals were done kando. And then Hapa Esther says,
John Deere.
That's true. Food in Kenya is delicious. It's time to return to America. I am devastated at the thought of leaving Kenya. Okay, so Esther, we are waiting for you, and hopefully you will make your way to Kilimanjaro Studios when you come to America. And then Gerald Oliech says Cargill is also about to hit Kenya. Tell us more about Cargill. Cargill, I think
those are grilling guys. I mean, they have a grilling.
Ama sijui kama ni watu wa pesticide. Tell us more, Gerald. Tell us more about Cargill. And then Esther Mulusa says food colonialism all over again.
Yes.
And then hapa Washeke is accusing me of sounding kama anaugua Mviko. I think you meant, is it Mviko ama ni Uviko?
Let's go with it.
Yeah. Okay, sawa. COVID-19. Kama niko na COVID, kila mtu hapa amepata COVID. So hatujui kama tutakuwa na show next week. But yeah, nimeng'ang'ana. Unaona sasa, that's why all of you should download your Lemfi app, so that we make sure that we have sick time. Tuwe na PTO. Sasa kukama leo mimi ni mgonjwa, I demand, like the finance guy Omosh ananilipa na sikuji kazini. Cargill is a family-owned company that produces, distributes, and sells food, agricultural products, and industrial goods. The company was founded in 1865 by William Wallace Cargill. So yes. So those guys.
And how many countries are they in?
They are, and is headquartered in Minnesota. It has over 155,000 employees in 70 countries. So yeah. Habari ndio hiyo.
Kenya is about to be 71. Carry on.
Yeah. And then let me see hapa. Gerald anasema guys are aware that Israel Are we aware that Israel has some shores of Nyanza? Well, new to me. Tell us more, Gerald. And then find out the transport company that hauls the fish from Nyanza to JKIA to Israel.
Hapa tunapewa
hey,
vidokezo, boss.
General ana vidokezo.
Anatupatia
Give
vidokezo.
give us the details.
Mi najua Wahindi ndio walikuwa na hiyo factory. The only way I knew about it was because I was a beneficiary in the 80s.
Somebody talk about beneficiary.
About that filet.
Yeah.
Tulikuwa tuna nyumba. Hiyo filet ilikuwa inaletwa kwa nyumba. You know zile vitu wagazi na kuja delivery. Unajua zile delivery ujui pale imetoka pale lakini imeingia.
Imeingia tu.
And it was still packaged na hiyo package ya nini? Ya Israel. In fact even written in
Hebrew.
In Hebrew. Yes.
And
then they would package it and they would say made in Israel or farmed in Israel. Because everything. So who could you
So they would say farmed in Israel imetoka huku.
Yes.
Hey, okay.
Boss nakwambia kuna vitu zingine huwaga zinafanya. It's almost like the EPZ zone. See, even though that says Kenya. Sindio? Iyo back then was not
but
saying
80s
that.
I can understand because
it was not
because
saying
Moi
that
had a very good relationship with the Zionist government.
I'm telling you, yes, because Kumbuka, one of his partners was Israeli.
Yes.
Ule Wayaya.
I know. Biwot was also married to an Israeli wife.
So nyumba zetu za Doni. Nyumba zetu za Donholm, watu tumeishi Donholm, zilimekiwa na Waisraeli.
Ile HZ company.
Yeah, it was made by the Israel. Alafu, the design ya nyumba za Donholm, if you have realized, they were the only houses in Kenya that had this flat roof that was designed for garden roofs.
Oh,
they were waterproof. Na kumbe tulikuwa tunafunika drainage alafu tunaweka fish hapo juu. So what you're supposed to do is like design yao na Israel ilikuwa ni you build the house, ile mchanga ya nyumba ndio unaweka hapo juu, you farm on top of the house. Because hata tank zetu za maji, the way they had like a tap where you could do an irrigation scheme from it.
Where?
Like nyumba za hakuna estate imetengenezwa Nairobi mzima kama Donholm. It was a different concept from everything.
Interesting things we are finding out. Hapa Gerald anasema Cargill and Purdue ni kama competitors. And then Doreen Florence is asking, does Kilimanjaro Studios have a 2/3 gender rule? Hiyo hapo acha tuta.
Our constitution has not been
it has not been constituted. Our constitution has not been constituted.
And we don't have IBC looking anywhere near in the future.
And so this is not a Kenyan constitution.
As things are going, na vile inaenda,
we are ruling ourselves.
Yes. And that gender can be 8/3.
But
Ama she wants to come.
No,
Doreen,
maybe.
kuja.
But we are taking applications.
Kuja
so
Doreen.
Yeah, she can apply.
Waacha maswali mengi. Kuja studio.
She
kuja
can apply.
studio.
Kuja studio.
And not apply. Applying is coming here, sitting right
Akuja
here.
Kaya hapo kwa hiyo kiti.
In fact.
Bas Adori umesikia.
Acha niweke video.
Yeah.
Doreen, oka.
Na ukuja na checkbook.
Akuja na checkbook.
So Mungu mwambia download Lemfi.
Yes.
Doreen,
by the way, bado tuko na list ya watu download. Doreen we bado huja download. So click your link.
Hiyo Lemfi anaweza download kama fana download, lakini kama anataka kubalance gender kuja na checkbook.
Yes. Not only you download but you spread it to your friends.
Now somebody over here send me a text. I have to read this. My guy, is this different than how things have always been? Top tier coffee and tea always used to be exported because it would fetch more on the international market.
Correct.
The coffee that we used to drink in Kenya wasn't the top
Even
scale.
the tea. It was the pits.
But now it only used to be cash crops. But now they are going for other crops that were not cash crops.
Even the so-called low-hanging fruit.
Yes, because cash crops, it wasn't, like a lot of farmers who are growing cash crops. But now when you're going for avocados, you're going for oranges, you're going for fruits and vegetables.
Horticulture wanaendea kila kitu mpaka mboga ya kienyeji.
Yes.
Basically everything that you grow.
Yeah.
Even a small kitchen garden hapo kando yako,
osuga.
And that is why it is important for people to participate. And that is why you have, listen, if you don't even engage your peoples in Kenya, because, mom, shosho, kuka, wherever they are.
So what constitutes a small scale? Is it mutule wa 100 by 100, 50 by 100? an eighth.
Majority, anyone you know was a small farm. Anyone
Do you understand
see.
what I'm saying? Because
majority.
hata tuseme mimi na ile nini, what do you call that land of mine at home?
Gani hapo.
My land in Ocha, what do you call it?
Dead capital.
Dead capital.
Kule dead capital.
Yeah.
Muaga na caretaker. Na
Yeah.
caretaker akona watoi mob.
Yeah.
So pia amepewa
Ana
mahali.
shamba yake.
Amepewa
where
mahali
grows
at
his
least
own, yeah.
correct, so that what's coming out of my pocket is less.
Yes.
You understand? So he can grow traditional veggies, pawpaw, fruits, nini plus
Mahindi
mahindi. And then the good thing about mahindi,
njugu.
yes, if he gets a couple of bags,
If he gets surplus, he can sell.
no ni yake.
No, yake kukula.
Because you know what you do na mahindi, unaitoa and then you weka kwa bag, and the bag is nini is I don't know, they medicated Mika, I don't know what they do with that bag, hiyo gunia, and then you keep, and what you do is you siaga as you use. So you siaga for the week, you grind for the week, or you grind.
So you can use it for a long time.
Correct. And remember, hiyo mahindi uwaga ni uji na ni ugali.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And then pia ni nyoyo or githeri.
Yeah.
Right? So it stretches and goes a long way.
Wow.
Alafu akipanda mahindi anapanda mahindi na maragwe.
Correct.
So akiharvest 2 bags of mahindi and harvest 2 bags of maragwe.
Yep.
Hapo ushamsoti hivyo. So vitu wananunua ni vitu kama unge ya chapati,
Yes.
michele.
Yes.
Okay, so extras,
Unaona?
yeah.
But then nyanya, vitunguu, everything anapandia hapo kando. Sukuma,
Yeah, by the way.
mboga za kienyeji
Yep,
anapandia
all of
hapo
that,
kando.
yes.
Boss, my show.
And under the horticultural bill, he will need a license.
My show.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
She
The
grew
most-
her own food.
My friend.
Is
Don't
there
use
anything you guys bought? Maybe bread is
No.
all you bought.
Maybe
right?
bread.
Mkate.
Yeah.
Maybe mogata.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sukari,
Yeah.
majani.
Even sugar would come from her children maybe living in the
Yeah.
city. They bring sugar.
Then it was never a priority.
Bogate, but
Yeah.
guess what? Doma ziko hapo. Unamka.
Yeah.
Milk straight from the cow.
Yep.
Inaekwa pale.
Ka-
The only thing
That
that
is
she
what
needed
I-
was sugar. Anaeka.
Yeah.
Una enjoy mahindi, bananas, beans, whatever you wanted. Farm.
You just go and you pick
You
for
just go
that day
pick.
and you make. Yeah.
Kitunguu,
Yep.
Hiyo ndio
dania.
nilikuwa naambia Ali.
The so-called
siku
kitchen
atakuja
garden.
kutembea,
Kitchen garden iko
atakula
hapo.
Mika.
That's what I was telling Ali, that the day he comes to visit the dead capital, atakula breakfast yote imetoka kwa dead capital. Yote.
Okay. Hiyo
None
dead
has
capital
been bought.
tunakuja.
So
Yeah.
I think it is important. Again, you know, I'm thinking we are educating a lot of people right now, and we are letting people know, like, in
It's
terms of
opening their
agriculture,
minds, because you know these things, we see them in sharks and you take them for granted, but you're falling within this box.
and your parents, shosho, kuka, your
Yes.
peoples, your persons, or whatever. That bill
You know,
that by
Basically, what people need to understand
Sabina
is
Che
Mm.
ni madogodhanio.
your mama mboga will disappear,
Yes.
right? Because there'll be no more marikiti.
Oof, okay. This
Think
is,
about
this is
that.
scary.
Yeah.
This is
Marikiti
scary.
haiko.
Yes.
So hata kama
There'll be
unaenda
no more
supermarket.
marikiti because
Yes.
there'll be no everything will have to everybody will, because for these multinationals to track how they're reaching to the last consumer, they need one central place to sell, which is
Naivas.
grocery stores.
Grocery
right?
stores, Naivas, wherever comes up.
And hata pia kina
Or they
Naivas
start their own
watakuwa-
Carrefour.
watakuja waambiwe again. So ndio naona mama mboga wako atapotea.
Mhm.
Number one, mama mboga wako akipotea, mtu wa kibanda atapotea.
Mhm.
Kwa mtu wa
Fantastic.
kibanda sasa itabidi pia anaenda kusource expensively, wewe anafaa kusource.
Kwisha.
Huyo pia anaenda kupotea. So hiyo inamaanisha cost of living inaenda high kwa sababu ya cost of grocery is going to be high.
Yeah.
Alafu guess what? Cost of food itakuwa dictated by one person. So bei ya chakula itakuwa inakontroliwa across the whole country. Hakuna vile unasemanga saa hii nimelemewa, nikienda Ocha kuna mvua naweza chukua chakula nikuje nayo, hiyo itakuwa imeisha.
Yeah, because you can't. And those also the people along the way, you know, the ones that Ali was talking about,
Yeah.
the fruit,
Yeah, hao pia
they're
watapotea.
they're all gone.
Oof.
Hizo
This is
vitunguu,
scary.
Pia
matunda,
wanapotea.
maembe,
Plums, gone.
oranges.
Zile, all those things, you know, before you even ingia mahima, all those
Yeah, that is a
as you
hassle.
drive, gone.
That
Yote,
is a hassle
zero.
that you're killing a
Alafu
hassle for somebody.
ushago sasa where it's gonna bite is gonna be ushago, kwa sababu ushago whereby these people used to, hata kama na survive na pesa kidogo, but shamba ina
Kitchen
carry
garden,
most of
yes.
the burden.
Mhm.
Most of them will have to go work for these other people. So for them, again, it becomes a point of where most of their salary is buying what they
Consume.
for producing
Yeah.
for free.
Because you think about it, many people here, when we travel, watu wanaendanga wapi? Si Naivas?
Yeah.
What?
Carrefour.
No, I know. That's what people are. Yeah.
Over here. No. When I'm talking about guys in the summer
Diaspora.
Guys
bunnies,
from the
winter
diaspora,
bunnies,
yeah,
when they
summer
go.
bunnies, yeah.
Unaenda unanunua whatever, they
yeah.
go to Naivas, whatever.
Yeah, the
You
supermarket.
don't
and
go,
yeah.
not many people are gonna go to Mama Mboga. Ni wangapi wetu hapa tumezoea kwenda kwa Mama Mboga hapa?
So for me, I personally think because mimi nikienda home, yani chakula, I'm not the one who's going grocery shop.
Kupita.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
So you don't know.
But
I-
unaona kama
yes.
kwetu tuko na like a house help who comes from Kibra.
Yes.
Or she's the one who does all
Yes.
the
But,
vegetable
and you know,
chopping.
she picks
Yeah,
those
na
things
mambo na zake.
and I pick
Where
on
she
the
picking
way.
them up from?
She picks
Yeah.
them on the way. She doesn't go to Naivas and all
No,
those
she
places.
doesn't. Yeah.
Yes. And
She
as
doesn't,
sort
yeah.
on the
So
way
your
from her
sauce
people.
done.
who
Yeah,
are-
so by
who
the
are
way,
coming.
yeah, she's very honest, anatuonyesha hata kule anazitoa. We would not even go negotiate ourselves because si tukienda huko tuonekane.
Exactly.
You can't.
Na
Yeah.
hiyo wagana kujaga na juala, even though juala is banned.
No, I know.
Because
I know.
they're
But
not
by the way. And you know, by the way, ghetto like ya ghetto ni different. Anatuambia hizi vitu ziko huko kwetu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Ile juala
Yeah.
ya black.
Yeah, iko.
Wako nayo, yeah.
So again, that's an existence, or that is
Yeah, a whole ecological
a whole
system that's
system
gone.
is gonna be gone.
It's gonna be gone, and a lot of people economically
Yes.
rely on that ecosystem existing.
And here's the problem.
Sana, unajua marikiti imeshikilia percentage ngapi
Like
ya
a
Nairobi?
nonsense. And by the way, the problem is all these decisions are being made by people that we voted for.
And that's why
Let that sink in.
To enrich there.
And that's why
Pockets.
Everybody who thinks that there's just too much noise going on, this is not affecting me, this is exactly
Utajua ujui.
what is going to happen.
Yes.
So now, like the horticultural bill, that's just one of the things that's been happening in the backdrop,
Yeah.
and being clouded out by the noise from the impeachment of Deputy President. We also have abductions of Kenyan citizens. This is another big deal that I think we need to be shouting on rooftops, but ni kama imenyamaziwa, but people are still being abducted. People are still missing. You know, we had the recent case of Bob Njagi,
Yes.
an activist who was abducted, and he had originally highlighted concerns about state security and human rights violations. So I don't know. You listen to his interview on Spice.
What I
And
found
even Nani was
interesting-
released juicy. What's the other guy? When what's his name? Somebody.
Are you talking about the brothers that were released with him?
No. Ujama, who has hair like he has cornrows, Nini, and he was on JK Live.
Oh, you're talking about Shadrach, was his name? Was his name
was it
Shad something? Yeah.
Shad something.
Yeah, I can't
Was it
remember.
him?
was released.
Ah, huyo
Was it?
alishikwa kitambo.
Yeye alikuwa
huyo,
kitambo
hapa
huyo,
kidogo.
alikuwa
Was it him
kitambo.
who had, no kuna juzi kuna mwingine somebody, was it somebody Rona or somebody was just released?
Like
Rona
I don't know.
Rona was abducted. Well, he was forcefully taken
Rono,
away.
Yes.
Rono alichukuliwa the same day na Morara.
Na Morara. We don't know if he has been released.
No,
I
he was
don't know.
released.
Okay, sawa.
He was released.
Yeah.
No,
He
what I
was
was gonna
released.
say was when
Alichukuliwa siku ya impeachment. Actually.
what was funny and what was interesting was when Bob was being interviewed on Spice.
Nothing
But
is,
prior to that, he had given out a statement. He had a 14-minute.
They sat down and had a presser, yeah.
Traumatized, but then he came back on Spice.
Yeah.
Traumatized, bado. I did not know that he worked for ODM for 9 years.
For 9 years, yes.
yeah.
And he had a very high position, by the way.
High.
Very, very high position.
9 years.
Yes.
But
He had
When-
to step away. Yeah. I
when
think
and I remember that footage. Because he's a guy of patch.
He's a Pacherian.
He's a Pacherian,
That's a Pacherian I respect.
and his class of
See what
95.
Mike.
Achana na kina wana Mike.
wewe Mika unachocha. Unasikia vile anachomanga. But it is how. But what was interesting was when when he was, because the guy played rugby. He had a big brother who was, I think, class of 92, Jaggy, rugby guys, huge guys. So when I'm saying, I'm like, Bob, I know this guy. So when he was, so there was footage of him being chukuliwad.
Correct.
And it was even being said that cops had said, don't record or whatever. But there's somebody who was
able to penya. A couple of people are able to penya and get
they got footage,
get the footage. Yes.
Of him saying, well, you know how they come because of their mask. They come and say, umebeba gun, chukua, wacha.
You know, it's interesting
because I think he was picked up from Mama 3.
He was picked up from Mama 3. 32 days.
That's a long time.
Handcuffed.
So I don't even understand how he was eating.
He was eating 1 meal a day.
So they wouldn't cuff him time ya kula.
No, maybe I think in a cuff zake zilikuwa hivi.
Zilikuwa mbele.
So you can navigate. Whatever unaletewa.
Kikombe chai and 1 plate of food, and that's it.
Now how do you pee?
He said, and then there was a bucket.
Yeah, but I'm saying even negotiating with this guy, they
would empty the bucket once a day.
But how would you pee and how would you do number 2?
Shauri yako
Ujipange, boss.
See, when in prisoner of war.
And these are...
I can't believe we're talking about this in 2024.
Yes, and this is after it has been declared that no more abductions, no more...
Yeah, that interview.
No more.
Yeah. We have a bigger
2024.
problem.
Yes, we do.
Which means that... No, let me finish. So, which means that not only are they continuing, but there's a distraction because, you know, like now this thing is not garnering any press. And again, and this is where, like, you know, sometimes I think Nile dangling of the carrot, then the carrot swings one way and guys are being told, you know, Gachagua, whatever. Huku kwingine, tunafanywa vitu, we are being abused, tunachapwa nyahunyo, but we're not feeling it because guess what? We are hypnotized
by this one thing that's going on.
By this thing that has nothing. Gachagua will never have, you know, the way things go. He's not gonna sleep hungry.
He'll be okay.
He's not gonna sleep homeless or without a roof over his head.
Gachagwa's
his kids already
they're sorted.
Rich, they're sorted.
Gachagwa's children's children will never suffer.
Watoto wa Boniface Mwangi, watoto wa Bob Njagi, Morara. These guys,
Morara has trauma.
He has trauma.
He needs a full-time. He needs full-time psychological help.
Trauma, but
yes,
guess what?
Does.
But that is a guy who, at 28, I respect.
We have to, you know, like the people who are willing to put themselves in the front of the line. I think a problem we have is you're always looking for the speck in the eye of someone who's putting himself in the front line. All of us have a speck in the eye. So now that's why
got logs.
That's why I get very mad at people who are constantly trying to pick faults because there's none of us who doesn't have a fault in them. But now these people are like, you know what? We have a problem. I'm willing to take the step forward. And what they're telling us, they're not telling us necessarily at Ikujapa, you take the hit with me. You from where you are hidden, just do this small thing, do that small thing. That's all they're asking for.
Let me tell you something, Ali. And somebody brought this up. And I've started thinking differently. I think some of these guys who are looking for the logs are those planted moles, planted to
spread a certain narrative.
Yes.
To spread a certain, so that people start talking about that.
Itumbi.
Yes.
And his ilk.
Yeah, and of course they have a lot of pseudo accounts that they use.
Of course. And that is why I think at some point you're like, and I think I told somebody, I don't care what Morara is doing, because you know what? He's 28. He is young. He is doing something that most of those and most of us probably at some point in our lives right now we have the courage, we can talk about it. Bob is somebody who who saw something that was bad is in Kenya and has gone through madhogodhanio while in Kenya, a father of 4. Actually, his last born child was born while he was in detention, when he was kidnapped. Let that sink in.
Yes, this
his
is
youngest
very sad.
daughter,
This is very sad.
when he was handcuffed and whatever, alizaliwa akiwa wapi?
And this is where I think we now have to start being creative, because our representatives have been captured.
No, they've been bought.
They've been bought.
It's a wrap.
All of them.
That whole August house, whatever you call that house,
Remember,
they are sellouts.
on the Spice interview, Bob Njagi talked about something that I found quite interesting, to have assemblies across all wards in Kenya.
I was actually going to bring that up. Not
Yes.
only his assemblies, but also the way they were talking about, if Ali is going to stand,
Yeah.
Ali, you stand with a mama, a person with disability, or something such that you fulfill
Or all the obligations.
that is it.
Yeah.
Which I found very interesting. by
It's
the way.
very interesting.
Very
A
interesting.
bit far-fetched, just based on where we are and the way, like business is done, but a very interesting idea.
It is, because guess what? You check all the boxes
Yeah.
of what is required of the Constitution.
Yeah, but what I liked about the constituent assemblies that he was talking about is that easy bills, we have a more formal way of dealing with it.
Yes.
So
yes,
a bill
I
is
had
done.
that.
A bill is done in Parliament.
Right.
It's brought down all the way, maybe even by the MCA, to these assemblies, and people discuss it there.
Yes.
People discuss it there, and then those views are taken by the MCA, by the different MCAs in the constituencies to the MP. Sasa easy up and views are watu wa constituencies that's captured in a quantifiable way, that the MP can tell people in my constituency they like this bill or they don't like this bill.